if you want genuine help from a party and politicians who will support everyday people, then the Democratic Party is not your party. I've been looking at all of these politicians in the Senate and everything, and they all seem like cartoon villains. It's not just Trump, it's all of them. So, red bombs, blue bombs, what's the difference? For the Palestinians, none at all. No difference at all. It's not surprising at all that Trump got elected. Not at all. The Democrats, or should I say the Republican Light Party, they spent, in fact, their entire campaign pretty much courting the Republican voters, ignoring their own base, in fact, shunning their own base. Remember the famous thing, I'm speaking. Well, who's speaking now, as other commentators have said all over the internet? Who's speaking now? Answer is Trump. And yeah, everyone's going to suffer. Everyone knew that. But again, there's no real difference in truth between red bombs or blue bombs. It's the same thing at the end of the day for the Palestinians. And everybody who voted for either the Green Party, Jill Stein, or who refused to vote, knowing that no matter whom the vote went to out of the two duopoly system that we have here in the US, it wouldn't have mattered because both parties served the same master behind everything. And that's foreign lobbies and corporations, etc. The voting is just a sham. The system is extremely corrupt. It is, in fact, better not to take part. And yeah, a lot of people go, well, hey, that's a stupid thing to say. We've been programmed for a long time to believe this adult idea that you vote and that's how you take part in your democratic system, but our system is not democratic. It's it's so corrupt that all you're doing taking part in that, giving your vote to it, is that sure, you think you're getting something. And some people do. Yes, they do, because they agree with the policies already. But for the majority of everyday people, it's always been a case of not getting less still. You're never gaining anything. You're just voting to keep something, Medicare, welfare, some kind of life-saving medicine that's cheaper. You're trying to just keep things, stop them from being less, getting less and less. That system is not for the people, never has been. You could actually say that the Democratic Party won, too, yeah. Not the election, but they definitely won their number one priority, which is the support from certain foreign lobbies and corporations. They still have that support. They're still going to be courted by them. They're still going to get money in their pockets. So they did not lose in that way. They were willing to lose the election, but they were not willing to lose that support from behind the scenes. That was more important to them than winning the election. And yeah, looking at the facts, Trump actually got less votes than what he did in 2020, but he still won because there were far less voters for the Dem Party, Republican Light Party, I should call it. Again, so really the large margin here is that the people with voting rights in the US, it's not the people of color that have the same power. They're not the ones who did this. America is not ready to vote a woman in. They just aren't, let alone a person of color. Yeah, Barack Obama was an anomaly. And look at what happened after that. America isn't ready for this at all. It's a false hope, and it's a falsehood put out to create and stir up a false sort of wishful thinking. But yeah, the Democratic Party, which is no longer really Democrats at all, this should be a wake-up call for people to sort of realize that this is not a party for you if you're left or anti-genocide, if you're don't want wars in this world, if you want genuine help from a party and politicians who will support everyday people, then the Democratic Party is not your party. You have to realize that. And yeah, but Americans are so locked into this duopoly that it's hard for them to even believe or dare to really take the steps. And it's not just Americans, it's pretty much everywhere. Even though most other places, Europe and other places, they have far more options when they elect their leaders. And yeah, there's corruption even there. There's no perfect place. But this circus that's been going on in the US with all of these clowns, and they're not funny clowns. This is evil clown stuff. I don't know if anybody else feel like, I've been looking at all of these politicians in the Senate and everything, and they all seem like cartoon villains. It's not just Trump, it's all of them. Kamala laughing in the face of a genocide and murdered babies. Pretty much that's what she did. Shunning the people that are losing family members. So yeah, whatever comes with Trump, it's not worse than that. These people, especially Muslims, are used to this anyway. All of these minorities are. They're used to hard times. They're used to not being treated fairly. That's nothing new to them. This is nothing new to any of them. So to sort of poke at them and blame them and say, oh, look what's going to happen now with Trump, you can't complain. They know that. They've known that all along. It's the same. But with the Republican Party and Trump, you really do know what's going to happen, and it's going to be really bad for sure. With the Dems, they pretended not to be that when in fact they are the same. There's no difference. Blue bombs, red bombs, there's no difference. Yeah, I expected him to win with a greater margin than he did, unfortunately. But yeah, this genocide, it was begun by the Democratic Party. It's been supported by them for over a year now. Over a year. Why on earth is anyone acting like they are some kind of savior in the question of Gaza or Palestine? They're not. They are actually the villains in this story. The Republicans and Trump may finish it, but it was the Democrats who started it and have supported it unquestionably, to the point that they ignored their own Americans. The Americans in the hurricanes got $750 or something. Like, that's an insult beyond belief, especially since they're giving billions to a foreign nation. Yeah, they don't care about anybody. You could be white, black, Muslim, you could be native. Well, forget that. That genocide never ended. That's still ongoing. But whatever color you are, this is what politicians and the Democrats are treating you like. It's so no consequences, and the Republicans are the same. Their money, their pockets come first. You're not even third on their list. It's all the lobbies, it's all the money that they get and receive. For you, every 4 years, it's only a vote that they want from you. That's all, nothing else. I mean, it was astounding when a white guy was crying and screaming in the floods and the hurricane and cursing the government. Somehow he thought that because he'd been white that he would be okay. There's no difference. If you are a person, an everyday person, there's no difference at all in how you're going to be treated. Color, no color, whatever. Or any color, rather, I should say. Doesn't matter. And it hasn't for a long time. These unfunny clowns, rather evil clowns, they don't care. This is a great time to get out of the Democratic Party and try to introduce a new one, a completely new one. You can't keep voting for the same thing, expecting different results, right? That thing. You can't do that. This system does not support anyone.